Hello good people, Paul here, back again with a Friday video about real estate. And today I want to talk to you guys about contracts. Now, the real estate industry is run by contracts, right? I mean, any agreement that's made in Texas, be it verbal or written, can essentially be binding to both parties, okay? Definitely if you have signatures that's on paper, it's really hard to get out of that contract. And I want to tell you guys about an experience that I had with a contract called a lease option contract. So, around all the contracts, this is the one we're going to talk about today because initially it can be very appealing to you, but if you don't know how it works and how it binds you, then you could be in trouble later, all right? So, lease with option to buy is also a name for this contract. In real estate, they just simply call it a lease option contract, okay? So what this means is you get to lease my home and then you have the option to buy it. And essentially you have the option to buy it first, right? So before I put it on the market, if I'm gonna sell it, at the end of your lease, you have that first option to buy it, right? Okay, and so typically on the agreement, you're gonna have what's called the agreed price, all right? And most leases are 2 to 3 year leases with this option to buy period. And so the number that's most important and essentially can change is the option to purchase price, right? So let's just say you get into a lease at my home and you're paying me $2,000 a month, and right now maybe my home is worth $200,000 right now, today. That's the market value of the home, right? Now you're going to be in a 3-year lease option contract, okay? So for 3 years you're going to pay me $2,000 in rent, and at the end of the 3 years, you're going to have the option to purchase my home. Now, here's where you need to be careful. On this contract, you can actually establish a price point in which the tenant can purchase the home, which is very dangerous because in 3 years, you don't know what the market is going to do, right? All right, so let's just say we had a price point. It's worth $200,000, maybe in 3 years. Goes up a little bit, so let's do $220,000, right? So in 3 years, at the end of this lease option contract, my tenant gets to purchase my home for $220,000. All right, so from $200,000 to $220,000 in 3 years. Again, if you have the ability to not put this number, but instead put for fair market value, that is what's recommended. I would lean far away from actually putting a number that your tenant can purchase that home for at the end of the lease, because you have no idea what the market's going to do. So here's an example. You know what happened during 20, 21, 22 when house prices just soared up? So let's say we get in this agreement, right? And then 2021, 2022, house prices go crazy, right? Like they did. And all of a sudden, this house is now worth $275,000. That's the market value of the home because the market went sky high. Nobody knew what the market was going to do, but since you got into this binding contract, your tenant gets to purchase the home for $220,000 when that lease is up. And they can do that. And there's nothing you can do about it, okay? Because you're binded to that contract, both signatures are on the paper, and it's a legal contract, okay? So again, with a lease, with option to buy contract, I encourage you to not use a dollar amount if you get into one of these contracts, but actually just put fair market price. That way, at the end of that lease, whatever the market value is, that tenant gets to purchase and everybody has a fair agreement, right? Because I don't know about you, but if I'm the one selling this house, it's worth $275, but now I have to sell it for $220. That's very uneasy in my belly, right? I don't feel good about that. And so this is a lease with option to buy contract. This is just one of many contracts. This is not something that you're going to see a lot. In Texas, it's kind of frowned upon. Even the Texas Real Estate Commission doesn't have an actual contract for a lease option agreement, okay? You have to find them elsewhere, right? You can get a lawyer to print it up. I mean, you could even create the contract yourself. Honestly, if it's on paper and there's signatures, it doesn't have to be prepared by a lawyer. So again, lease with option to buy, be careful with it. That's just one of many contracts in real estate, but haven't been through an experience with this contract. I just wanted to share with you guys so you don't have to go through the same thing. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next Friday.